What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream, and today we are talking all about Aquaforest. How are you boys doing today?
Doing fantastic. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for having us on, Devin.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I'm very happy to be with you here,
Always
and
appreciate.
and
Yeah,
and, and we know each other for a while, and we didn't saw each other for a long, long time, I think.
years. I think we were probably supposed to do this years ago, but so better late than never, right?
Yes, yes. But finally, we can meet online, but it's still online.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, just starting out, Aaron, how's your new tank, by the way?
Oh, I the tank is going to get moved in the next 3 or 4 days. So my friends over at Unique Corals is coming through, and they're going to be able to help me to get it up on the stand. So big shout out, thank you to them. The rock work is all fully assembled, so I posted some pictures on my YouTube or my Instagram, and I'll send some over to you as well. Things are coming together. I've got the sump work I'm working through. The plumbing is just about done. I made a couple modifications to go through the Panterai 80-watt UV. So a little modification, but it's coming. So I'd say within about 2 to 3 weeks, it'll be full of natural salt water, and
Nice.
hopefully all my fish will be back in.
So it's pretty close. And
Yeah,
and what
you
brand
know,
is this new tank that you have?
I'm really I'm really I appreciate how the Iron it's patient on this process because normally it should be in a few days, and his tank it's in his house for a month, I think, now.
almost a month. Yeah, those of you who have seen some of the updates, you would have saw the struggle where we had like five of us try to get it in, and we tried, and it's a big heavy tank,
Oh yes.
and it didn't work. So we talked through different options. Shalom was like, oh, you should try rollers, and Tristan over at Pax Bellum said, oh, look at the Egyptian method of moving it on big rollers. So everyone has been commenting on how to get it in and up, and so it's been fun, but also it's given me a chance to really think through a lot of the details that if I would gone a little bit quicker, I may not have thought about. So, and particularly about thinking the rock work, right? Of really having some time to put it in place, let it sit, and really just incubate on it. Like, is this the right top down, left, right? Where I'm going to place certain coral. So, while it has been super frustrating and annoying not to have it up and with water, I've appreciated the chance to actually think about the aquascapes, and real quick, I'll just go. So one of them, I have it kind of as a mountain coming down. So I'll have to really be able to put different varied species, whether it be flow dependent or light dependent, across this huge scape. The other, I followed the bonsai method. So a lot of negative space on the top for corals at different needs, light and flow, but a lot of caves on the bottom. Knowing that my other structure didn't have a lot of space for sleeping, I wanted the other side to have a lot of extra room. So within the two scapes, they're vastly different, particularly now with nothing on it. But I'm hoping as they grow in, it'll
Mhm.
really start to give some dimensionality to a real, true infringing reef system.
Nice. It's looking pretty awesome so far. So
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
and because of that, we have spoke about aquascaping
mhm.
as a art, as a how important it could be in our tank, and how we sometimes we forget the role of all the rocks in our tanks, and as you said, it should be some places for fish that they can hide. The
Mhm.
rock itself should have a construction for corals, and it's very difficult for somebody to imagine how this tank will look in 2 years,
Mhm.
and almost, and sometimes we forget about it. We just make a construction of the time of the we treated that rock as a decoration, that's all.
Mhm.
And after a year or two, and too much corals are growing on each other, we don't plan that, and it's very important to plan. And as Aquaforest rock, I can say, we also think about the role of the rock in the tank. It's a filtration media. It should be a filtration media, just a decoration, not just a piece of cement that you can put in the tank and just have it.
Yep.
That's why this rock it's made very porous, very light, and very in different shapes
Mhm.
to achieve the aquascaping goal that we can plan before.
Yeah, one of the things that I tried to do is, some of them have a natural cave, and while as a cave, it looks good, and I found that method to work really well. I also inverted it upside down, so it kind of looks like this, and on the back side is where I have a nice space for the fish to find a place to hide and sleep. Um, but it gave a really nice dimension to the tank when you look at it, of something that kind of looks like a V, because our normal aquascapes, are kind of like an A. So it was added a new look to it that for me was something interesting that I didn't plan for, but it evolved into something that looked quite nice. And using the stone fix, I was able to make a cement out of it. And I varied with the different methods. Sometimes a little bit thinner to kind of like slope it really smooth. Other times I made it like a paste, think of it like a scoop of ice cream.
Yeah.
And put it in and just like molded it in, for the 10-15 seconds I had till it went hard. And that really helped me to get some shapes that I normally wouldn't be able to do. It looks good.
Nice. There's be able to glue the rock too makes a big difference to those crazy structures. And like what you're saying before too, like there is a lot of important things to consider when you're doing your aquascape. I remember back in my early tanks, I scaped it to look cool, right? And then as things grow, your corals grow, and you're like, oh, there's not enough room for the coral anymore because I didn't leave enough growth space. Like there's a lot of things you got to consider, and it doesn't a big cool arch, but the top was skinny, right? So there wasn't a lot of coral space, or then
Exactly.
fish are fighting over the one big cool arch, right? So having all those different little homes for all the creatures is another very important part.
The flow is very important. How it will flow through the corals, and we know that flow is very important for corals as well, and it's something that we need to think about before we will launch the tank even.
Yeah. I was talking to Michael Nguyen after your aquascaping conversation with him, Devin, a month ago or so. And then I talked to him the week after, and he offered some really interesting pointers about how to have the visual balance in there. And when I showed him a couple of the earlier renditions, it was interesting how he talked about lines and how I extended a line with just a little piece of the rock, and it brought out 5 centimeters, an inch or so, 2 inches of rocks. But it added to the way my eye saw it. And it really just cleaned it up with just a few little modifications, again, as base, before things even grow on it. So it's coming along, so it'll be wet soon.
That's awesome.
And even I saw your aquascaping, the progression of your aquascaping. It was in the probably if you will have the tank in let's say 2 3 weeks, it will be totally different. So you had time to really readjust things, and I saw you added that one, and really at the beginning I didn't like too much. I told you that, but now I really enjoy the progress that you made with the.
Yes. Thank you. And I started at the beginning with a particular vision in mind of how I wanted to kind of like scroll down and have lots of room for things at the bottom to have different zones. And I probably looked at 50, 100 really good aquascapes from tanks, and then a whole bunch of reef pictures around the world of natural reef to be able to see like what was going to be the best way to scape this, and the various type of corals, because I wanted smooth skins down on the bottom. I wanted some more tabling stuff up on the top. So I had already in mind particular corals of where I wanted to put them, or a species anyway. So I just needed to build out a structure that would accommodate. And what I was also grateful that I had a space that I could build it out of the tank, and not actually in the tank, because so often our hands are in one way, our head is kind of the other way, and we're looking at it sideways. But to build it dry and to glue it together, it really did help me to get an interesting perspective of what I hope will be cool and helpful for the fish and coral. So only time will tell in that progression video.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. I just tried to creep your Instagram and see if you had any photos of it, but you don't. I only have the sneak peek ones you sent me, so I can't show it right now.
I will. When Sever talks, I'll send you a couple.
Okay, sounds good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now what?
But anyway, as a rock itself, the rock it's relatively when we have a packaging of 18 kilograms, which will be more or less probably 40, not less than 40 pounds. But generally, in one packaging, you will find different shapes. So it's quite easy to really make a good aquascaping with 1-2 box, depending on the size of your tank. But you will have the caves inside, you will have the arches, you will have the base, you will have the flat rocks, which is super nice for some STS corals as well.
Yeah.
And so in one box, it's surprisingly lot of different shapes and lot of pieces in one box, because it's very light. If you compare to other rocks, it's really light. Probably I will not shoot with the percentage, but it's lighter. It's very light, and it's not light because you have a micro holes inside. You have the material that it's made. It's not empty, but there's a lot of micro holes.
Yep.
And which is good for
Awesome for
bacteria to
bacteria.
grow on it.
What is it made out of? Since we're
It's a kind of volcanic pumice, special one that we found. That it's not polluted. They don't have any heavy metals or any contaminants on it, because it was quite difficult to find one that will not be really that would be without any harmful elements, and it will not leak anything to your tank. So it's made from volcanic natural material.
Nice.
And it's very porous, very light. So that's why it's so good.
That's awesome. No, I love it. Yeah, that's one of the problems with some of the man-made rocks is they're more or less cement, and it's just super dense, and you're just not getting as much bacteria
and
space.
it's a decoration. It's fine. Some people like it because it looks nice. But it's not the only role of rock in our tanks. Remember the times when we use only the live rock, and why we use it, because there is a lot of bacteria, a lot of life on it. And now obviously the time changed, and it's not so easy to import live rock. So we need to replace it with other materials, artificial or natural that we have. But generally, it should make the same. It should have the same role that it was the live rock. So it needs to be a support, a biofiltration media, which I believe our rock it is.
Nice. No, that's awesome. So I just did get the clip from Aaron, so I am playing that one on the side, so you can see all the funky rock. That looks pretty cool, though. I like all the textures of it, too. It gives it lots of little nooks and crannies to mount everything.
Yeah, so one side of it is almost perfectly flat, and the other side of it has some extra texturing, kind of like little nodules. So depending if you have a frag or you can place something on top. So it definitely gives you the option to work both ways. So I sent you the video as well as some still shots from both sides, so that you're able to see some different progressions there.
And with the rock, you can work on it. You can break it, and just it's not the final shapes. So, for example, if the flat piece will be too big for you, you can just cut it and reshape it yourself. I don't know if you did that, Aaron. If you reshaped it, or you used the original one.
I did. I rescaped in pieces. So I used a chisel and a hammer, and so I would, because of all the little nodules, they're easy to get pretty clean lines. And I found just using a chisel that I was able to remaneuver it to get a lot of natural connections. So I could bind it and bond it there pretty easily.
Nice.
Normally, I didn't did that. I in my tank that I made that in I didn't reshape it because it was okay for me. But if you have your own vision, you can do it. It's a choice.
No, it looks really good. You did a cool job on it.
Aaron, did you use the sand in your tank? Because it's an interesting topic, because many people now, when they have a SPS, they decide to not have sand in their tanks. And just an interesting topic to be.
Yeah, I've been bare bottom for 2 or 3 years now, and I personally prefer it. However, my wife prefers the look of sand down there, and so for this particular tank, I'm actually going to use sand, and I'm going to enjoy having both the reflection, the more natural look to it. So it'll take some getting used to for me, but I think it'll look quite nice. And I noticed the Aquaforest sand. It's a little bit thicker. Its size is kind of more like a disc, kind of like a crescent moon. I think maybe 1.5 to 2 millimeters. So it's a decent size, and it looks heavy enough that my power heads aren't going to blow it around either, which was part of the reason why I sucked out the sand before, because it was just getting blown around everywhere. So I'm excited to try sand again.
That's good, and the sand is looking very natural because you have some different. Even you will find some shells inside.
Mm-hmm.
You will find some small pieces of different colors, not just the pure white. So it is white, but you will find some pieces that are contrasting on the white sand, and it look
Nice.
more natural. But generally, that's some people that have SPS tanks, or even so they prefer to have bar bottom. I can understand that, but the look, it's also important of the tank and more natural of the ocean, how the reef looks in the nature.
I'm a fan of sand. I just think it looks so much better. Like, I have none in my frag tank, but any display tank, I 100% vote go sand.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and Dev, you and I spoke about this a long time ago. I got tired of taking the razor blade. I was using the 4-inch razor blade, but scraping the bottom, the coralline off, because what I was noticing is it was both my alkalinity was being sucked up like crazy because of the extra surface area coralline algae growth. But at the same time, I was noticing some of the corals, the underside, going pale because they weren't getting enough light bouncing off the bottom to hit up. So, I would be every couple of days scraping the bottom. It's a pain in the butt. So now I'm looking forward to enjoy it, but not to gravel siphon it. But oh well.
You can have a bottom, from with the Montiporas. It's looking also nice.
There you go. Yeah,
that's an idea. Yes.
Yeah. I have a friend. He's working in our company. He has a beautiful tank with SPS, and whole bottom is covered with the Montipora, different one. He's crazy about Montipora, so he has different ones. They are just whole bottom is with the beautiful colored Montipora.
That's another option.
But I still prefer the sand, as Dev said.
It just looks natural. It is a ton of bacteria of space, right? So it keeps your system more stable. And like you're saying about the light reflections, the lighter white color is going to reflect that light back up at the bottom of your corals, which actually helps bring more light and keep the colonies healthier. So there's lots of benefits in my mind for sand. The only downfall is
sand need to be moved time to time. It's not just to leave it for years, because of course the life it could grow, but some bacteria that are not also too good for our system can grow as well in it. So it's very important to have a starfish, or even just to steer it time to time. And it's good because all the detritus can feed your corals at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, I was planning to get a pair of the sand-sifting gobies, which are my wife's favorite fish.
Nice.
The yellowhead sleeper gobies. So they'll help clean up the bottom as well as cover the corals too. So
that's the only downfall.
It's just an interesting subject. It could be interesting to hear your opinion about this.
Yeah.
So we are all three for sand.
I vote sand. Aaron, welcome to the sandy side.
I'll give you a half on that one.
That's fair. That being said, my frag tank has no sand beside me, but all the display ones, I just have to go with sand.
Yeah. So as we are on the subject of the sand, so Aquaforest have a sand. It's called live bio sand. It's a different approach to the sand, because we don't have the bacteria in the sand already. I have a special blend of bacteria with the source of them that we add to the sand with special proportion. There's a whole recipe how to do it. We leave it for a while, and these bacteria are more recent and more can I say they can because I still have some problem to believe or that the bacteria can live so much they are living in the sand, but they are not in such a quantity that I would like to have, because the bacteria are very resistant. They can be for years even in the sand. But we believe that it will be better to implement it ourselves in the big concentration, make them alive there to grow for like 24 hours, 84 hours in the high temperature, and then just do it and add it to the tank. So it's a little bit different approach, and yeah, we do that.
Nice.
Going back to the rock real quick, knowing that the media is so porous, that's one of the things I'm looking to see the difference, or see if I can even tell the difference between, natural reef rock, which I had in the past tank, to this being much more porous. How much more stability do I have in the tank? Do I notice any difference in the coral when I put a frag down or a colony down? How fast does it encrust? And does it create like a micro zone around that piece of frag or that colony? Because it's more porous, is bacteria going to be naturally higher than a rock? So I don't know if I'll be able to quantifiably measure these things, but I'm definitely curious to observationally see this rock and how it performs for coral, connecting to it and encrusting and growing versus a natural reef rock harvested from the ocean a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. So we made such a test as well. Of course, it's difficult to measure this kind of data, but we observed that the corals encrusting very fast on the rock, very fast, really. And I made even the experience in our tanks that I put some corals on different places, and 1 month was covered of just like really nice growing on this rock.
Nice.
So definitely it'll be something to test on that. Devin, I don't know how much space you have in your scapes for a little bit of rock, but maybe we can do a little test and have you test how fast something encrusts in your tank.
I will add some, and I will try this now. You know what, actually? I was thinking the other day I might try adding some to my frag tank once I rid the Aptasia first. I might go get a copper brand tomorrow to help me out with that one.
We'll see how Aptasia will grow on this.
Well, there's a bunch in there that I need to get rid of, but I think I'm going to get rid of it and add some more rock and make my frag tank more display-ish rather than just frag racks, and be a little more fun that way. So I will let you know soon.
Besides of the porous, that is porous and it's very good filtration media, it's looking very good because you will find a different coloration on it, and there's no any contamination, which is very important from my perspective.
Yep, definitely. So I take you up on this test in like a few weeks.
Yeah, but I know that you received the live biofil, I think.
Yep.
And so this is the same material that we use for creating rock.
Okay.
But this one, it's this one that we have. We keep it in special containers with the. I don't know if you open it or yet, but
no.
Not. But anyway, you will find that it's wet inside because a little bit moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So bacteria are inside. So we settle down the bacteria on it.
Yep.
In the special jars. So we see how light it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
It is moist a bit too.
Small, but anyway, if you will see the whole bag, there's a lot of this media. So when you will use it, the bacteria are there. They are settled on this media, so it's work immediately after we'll put in the tank. I think I didn't saw any of similar product in the market. That there are media, porous media, but are not with bacteria already on it.
So I have a question, because I was thinking about trying this inside of a media reactor on lower flow, so that forces water through it. Because I was going to just take out the carbon in my reactor and put a bunch of this media inside and try it and see how it works for like denitrifying and everything else. That's kind of what I was thinking about doing with it. Do many people run it do they run it more passively in a sump? Do they run it in a reactor?
Yeah, I use it in the reactor. It should be in the flow area, for sure.
As long as there's flow, it's happy. It'll do its thing.
Yeah, you can have a basket with the small holes but always all media is better in the reactors, generally, because the flow is more constant and it's going everywhere. But I know that some people keep it in the I don't know, in the sump where the water flow through, but time to time you need to clean it, and the reactor is quite easy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you talk about some of the different forms of where people have it, I see Sam Parker's in the reef here, or in the chat here, and one of the things that he did in his sump is he had the chambers where he had the media, and he used an air stone to put underneath it. So the bubbling of the air stone, it helped to agitate the water and any of the particulates that were there. And I thought that was particularly interesting, that method. I'm going to put some in a reactor, but I'm also going to put it in a bin that I got from Daiso with a bunch of holes on the bottom.
Mhm.
And I'm going to put that air stone down below it and let those bubbles go through, both for some cleaning purposes, but also to help keep the rock media clean. So I'm interested to see both, will that improve my ORP? Will that help keep the media cleaner longer? And then also create more bacteria in general for the system.
It will definitely help aid the bacteria. I've tried that with a few different products where adding the air bubbler seems to make it work better just because you're oxygenating it and basically feeding the bacteria. So I think it will be a solid solution. I think should be good.
Yeah, if only I can put a CO2 scrubber in line with the air stone, then I'm onto something.
Do it.
You'll discover something interesting, probably.
Yep.
So if anyone in the stream, the Facebook Aquaforest group or on YouTube know of a DIY trick how to put an inline CO2 scrubber for an air stone, hit me up. Let me know.
Oh, you could totally do that. You just take a canister filter, fill it up, and just input, just screw in a little 1/4-inch like push connector on it on the way to your stone. Easy peasy. I'll help you.
I think I might adopt one of your Voss bottle methods for your dosing containers and might try that.
That could work too. I would, if you have an extra like DI, like just a single canister.
Yeah.
I would use that because it already has screw holes in and out, and will already force water through that, or air through the loop of media.
Guys, don't forget about the fun, because you are going to the too much details. And I observed that, many times because we have a laboratory when we test ICPs from our customers, and I observe people that I really go into details and they forget about whole picture. And just they really they are crazy because I don't know, vanadium, it's not 1 microgram and it's 2 microgram. And they just don't see that have alkalinity at 15, or I don't know, there's just phosphate at 0.2 or something like that. And I just go into the details. So sometimes it's we should stick with the all norms. That is most important thing, and after we go into the science like you. But I know that you're very experienced people, the reefer, and I know it's a part of the hobby and have fun, to discovering new things. But just I want to say that we should be really looking on the whole picture sometimes.
Yes. Okay, I'll get off that cookie trail. Great input there, Devin. Sam, thanks for the tip as well in the comments section. So guys, stay tuned. I'll go down that rabbit hole and send pictures. So we'll come back up a little bit.
Okay, so one thing. So Aquaforest, you have an Aquaforest tank, which I didn't even know Aquaforest made tanks until I saw yours. So that's pretty awesome. So I'm assuming this is new. It looks beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, wow. Take this one. It's all you.
Yep.
Okay. So the Aquaforest tank, we are this project. Are developed for years. I can say, because we first we made the tanks, we made the cabinet. It was ready about probably a year and a half ago, and we wanted to. But the cabinet was more or less the same that every other company on the market. So it was plywood, just not the plywood, but this is the cabinet, quite normal, like an IKEA style cabinet. And we wanted to have a certification for guarantee that it will be right cabinet for this weight, because the tank, we know how it could be half ton, so it's or even more, like your it will be even more, like probably like 700 kilograms, or it will be 1,400 pounds more or less. So we gave this whole project to the company who certified this kind of things, and they just laughed and they said to us, you want to keep your tank and you have guarantee on that on this small shelf, it's 1 ton, and you want to do it like this? And we were, everybody do that. And I said, and they just told me, no, you will never get the certification for this. And so it just make us renew all the way of thinking about this project. And so we develop all the cabinet again. and it's made for special yacht in the yacht industry. So in marine industry, special plywood. It's very compressed, very strong. We use a special screw, special holds that it's they have certification to hold all the weight that it's there. And after that we have the certification. So that's why I said that because it took us a long time to test it. We even make the crash test, the press test.
Yeah.
So the other one, it was like 300 kilograms. It crashed, and it was stable, not the moving pressure. But this one, it's 2,000 kilograms and it's staying. So it's a totally different approach to the cabinets and the whole system. And we are, of course, more expensive than any other brands that we have, but we decide not to do something that we are not really convinced, and so that's why we have a different plumbing, which is very it's bigger, and you know that valves. The gate valve, it's huge. I don't know, Aaron, you saw it. It's huge.
Oh yeah, this thing is massive. It is like the size of more than my fist. It's a massive piece of machinery.
Nice.
And that's why it's very precise. Even if you will have snails inside, you can break it. You can just crash it inside. So there's no any things like that. There's special silencer on the top of this. So it's super silent, the system. The glass, it's made from quite famous company that is called Pilkington, and they have their own glass, which is called OptiWhite. It's super white. Of course, every company has low iron glass, and they said, but this one it's super white.
Nice.
Transparent, and so there's a lot of feature in this tank that we really develop, and there's no compromise on this tank. Because I know that but even the panels outside, they are made from acrylic, and they are painted, And that was a funny story, because yesterday when we have a meeting in our company, and the technical guy he told me that he made an experience, and he put the material that the tank is made, this special plywood that we have for yacht, he put it outside in the water a year and a half ago. So he was in the snow, and I didn't know that, and he just take it out from the water, and there's nothing inside. There's no water that enter it on it. Wow. And it was yesterday. It's very funny. You never told me that. You should make a video about this.
You should.
It was winter. It was snow. It was ice. Was inside the water all the time, outside, for 1.5 years. And there's nothing, the water, because some people said, okay, it's because you will see the structure of this cabinet if you look on it, and some people said, oh, it's not, maybe it's not protected.
And check out this unwilling test.
It shouldn't be. There's no need to be protected, and it's made for a reason, because it looks natural, and at the same time you see how dense it is.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll send some more pictures and video of it, and Dev, maybe you and I can do another one of these once I get water in the tank, and I'll go through some of the specific details on the plumbing and stuff as well, so you can see. But it's seriously pretty hardcore. The size of the return lines are much larger than a lot of the other brands that I've seen and used before, to really allow it to be silent. And I think that
nice.
I know how much you
appreciate a silent tank.
I know you do. I'm waiting for that day as well, soon.
But the silence is one thing, but the other I believe that most of the time they have low diameter of the pipes, which makes the smaller turnover between filtration, like a sump and everything that we have downstairs of our tanks, and the up. So we calculate that some of the brands have turnover that is possible through these pipes, like 2.5 maybe of the size of the up, and we know the golden ratio is 10. To have the ability to make a filtration. but it's no way to do it because the pipes will not let you go. And so that's why, and of course I can understand because they are much cheaper, the small one. The bigger are more expensive.
Yep.
And that's why we, as I said, it's a little bit, even how it will be attached, there will be probably no leaking because it's so super solid. So even if you will move a little bit the pipe, it will not make you, the water will not pass through. And we know the situation when it's the connection between the overflow can leak. When it leaks, going to the structure of the tank, and it could deform the whole structure of the tank, which is also, that's why one of the reasons that we named it Ocean Guard as something that we should be safe and we should trust this structure.
Yep. Well,
and visually, as I said, the outside panel are really nice, made from pure acrylic, waterproof, and you will see the difference. You will see the difference, like a good kitchen and the IKEA kitchen. I don't say it's a IKEA. It's not good, but you have better quality and just we know what I mean. There's a difference.
It's nice.
And you will see it, and you will see it. There's different, and with the cool things that you can, the cabinet. It's a one structure that keep the tank, but the outside panel are just kind of decoration. That you can every time you want, you can just change that without disassemble all the construction. So the panels are just detachable.
Yeah.
So I'll show because Devin, I've got the white set and I've got one of the gray colors as well. So
I was looking at all the colors.
I was a special guy. He received two different ones.
Spoiled.
He was not decide. As I remember, he was not decide. I said, okay, so we'll get two.
Yes. So awesome. I will show the differences on it and how they look. And one of the things that's of particular interest is so many of their brands, it's either black or white. And granted, that's the most popular. But personally, what I really appreciated is that there were a range of black, white, a sand color, or a warm sand color, and about 4 different grays.
Yeah,
which really gave, and I'm not sure if you got a picture of it up there, but it really gave a nice way to look at complementing whatever your natural home decor is.
Yeah, I like the gray too. It's pretty cool, actually.
But the gray, it's a color that we have in sports car. Like it's a kind of I know that Audi RS6 make this color, for example. It's called Nardo. I know this color. But anyway, like I say, it's because as we are, I know that there's a woman in reefing, but statistics are probably 90% are men's in our hobby. It's good that we have more and more women and girls, but the statistics are as they are, as they is. But the colors, it will be good excuse to make women choose, to choose.
Yep.
And I heard somebody said that for example, okay, you have the choice, yes or yes. So you gave your wife, okay, choose the color, and she's choosing the color that she wants, and you get the tank.
Strategy. It's always good to get that buy-in, and they're part of it, and that's more.
You get their buy-in early, and then they're part of the whole process. Yes.
Yeah.
And still, if you want to change something, you can still change the color. If you change you make something you change the decoration inside your house. So just take off the panels, you buy new ones, and you put the panels, and it's quite easy. And it will take probably a few minutes to just change it.
That's pretty cool, actually. So all the panels just snap on to the frame inside.
They screw on the inside. They have headless screws, so you screw it into the side exterior panel. You put it through the holes on the frame, and then you just use the carriage bolt nuts on the outside, the fly nuts to attach them.
And they are rust resistant.
Nice.
And even the hinges, we use the hinges from one company that they make laboratory hinges. We use it in our laboratory. That's why it's probably 10 times more expensive than the regular one that we use in our let's say in our tanks. That should be rust resistant, but they are not. We know everybody experienced that they are rusting after 7 months. But this one, no way. It's a guarantee that they will not rust.
Excellent.
So that's something that it's also no compromise, and it's 10 times more expensive. So,
but you buy it once, then you're set.
Yeah, right? That's true. There are even don't reacting with the chemicals in laboratory, even the iodine, which is also it's a volatile and radioactive. Radioactive, probably that's a good word. Element. So even if you have iodine somewhere in the lab, they reacting in the area of 1-2 meter around, and these hinges are not reacting to this.
Crazy.
That's a very crazy. But even if you have in glass, so it's reacting around.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Huh. So we know in laboratory. I know that we at the beginning we didn't have this hinges, and I know that they were rusty after 2 weeks. Just around the iodine when we kept.
Huh. That's crazy. It's amazing the things that would affect it. You would never think.
Yeah.
But it's very 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 important element, and I remember. But anyway, it is. So that's why so many details that we readjust. We look because the tanks you are in the tanks for so long, and I know what was the pain. That for example how the noise, it was always a pain for everybody. Yep. So we made a special construction that is really silent. You will hear only probably your lights, fans of the lights. You will not hear the because I know that you didn't experience that, Aaron, but you will see.
Love it.
Yeah. We're gonna get that tank up and it's gonna be beautiful.
Yep, it will be. All the photos you keep sending me looks pretty dang good. So
it's coming along quite nicely. Hey, Sever, Greg Carroll had a question for you about the color of the Ocean Guard. Was that gray inspired because you have the Audi, the RS6?
No, but I like this color, but generally. It was not. I don't have this color, so it's maybe no. It was inspired because we choose the colors that to be as much as universal in the surrounding. So that's why we choose this color, because they are not shiny. They are maybe not shiny, but they are not bright. But they are fitting in every interior. And that's why this one, it's like you have it,
it's non-metallic. It's a matte finish.
Yeah.
But this one, for example, but the others are more shiny. We don't have matte one. I know that some people like it, but it's quite difficult to keep it clean, and you see always a finger on it, and we not decide. But maybe we'll add some colors during because we have this possibility to have add the colors as well. More of them.
So what were the two that you were back and forth on? Was it white and gray?
Yeah,
those
it was white and gray.
As I was clicking through them, those are the same two I was back and forth on. So,
and the pure white is nice, but having just had the water box, I was like on white. I'm like, I feel like I want to change it up and do something different. So, I think it'll work. It looks nice against it already, and the wall color is kind of a warm sand, and I know Sever, that was one of your favorite colors, and again, it depends on however your home decor is. I think it gives you that real option to customize it.
Yep. No, which is perfect, right?
But statistics are that 80% of the tanks are white.
Yeah.
Even more.
And they used to be black, and now white's kind of like the newer trend of them.
But I remember the story that the 40T was in black color only, and that's all. We didn't have any choice at the beginning. You heard that you can choose any color that you want,
Mm-hmm.
But the black is the best one because it's the only one. Maybe that's why we didn't have the choice to choose the colors,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's why it's only white. We'll see. We'll see how it will be.
Yep. Yeah, could be true. I have a very random question for you. The liquid mysis artemia, do they have to be refrigerated?
After opening, yes,
Okay.
it's better. It's better to be refrigerating. Yeah, but yeah. There's an instruction on the instruction. There's information that should be refrigerating after opening.
Okay. Just curious.
It's not necessary 100% probably if you'll use it, let's say in a few months,
Mm-hmm.
which is normally you will use it. It should be okay in the room temperature, but it's a food, so it's always better to keep it at the
Okay.
fridge.
Just curious how it would work if you were to throw it on a dosing pump and just let it feed your tank every day.
The particles. You should have a mixer probably,
Yep.
to dose it on the dosing pump, and it will be difficult in my opinion. So you should have a dosing pump that will have a mixer,
Yep.
and after it should be dosed in drops maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some pumps that they pump and they repump again to the
Put it
bottle,
back.
the rest
Yep.
to not sit on the do not stay on the
In the line.
hoses. Yeah.
I saw one a long time ago where they used like a wine bottle chiller for their container, and then they sucked out of there and put it back in, and I thought that was a cool idea. I keep thinking about it for like ages, and I did just look at the liquid version. I was like,
I know that they are on the market. I will not make advertising here, but I use one like this, and it's okay. But I never use it this way.
Yep.
I think you need to build a robotic arm that will pick up the bottle, shake it, and then turn it over, tap, turn it back and set it down.
It's doable.
Yeah, and it will watch your tank in your phone because you will not have time to watch it in live. So that's why automatization is super nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, we have a new product which is the Power Elixir. It's a mix of amino acids, vitamins, and it's for dosing pump. You don't need to refrigerate it, and it's perfect for dosing pumps.
Mm-hmm.
But I will like to use it when I will not be home. If I will not be, I will travel maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love to dose it manually because I have time to watch the corals and to take care about my tank. And automatization, it's super nice. I like it, but to not lose the fun of what we are doing in the same time.
You got to spend some quality time with the tank.
Yeah. I know some people don't have time. They are traveling sometimes. Oh, then it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have time for your tank, so why to have it?
Yeah, that's true. Give it some love. Sometimes I did a little post about it the other day, but sometimes I've found that where you just get caught up in the crazy and you just walk by your tank and you're like, I haven't enjoyed this in a while. Just sit down, have a coffee, enjoy the tank for a bit. It's good. It's good for you.
It's therapeutic.
It is. Exactly. You got to spend more time around the tank. I agree.
So that's why people ask us because we have a droppers, some food, some even like in droppers, and why not to automatize this process? Of course, it was difficult for us to create this Power Elixir, which is the mix of because normally this content it's very difficult to conserve without any contamination to be natural, and it took us a long time ago to be sure it will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I still like to dose manually, just as it is. But if you don't want it, you have a choice. You can be dose it on dosing pump. You don't need to refrigerate, or you don't need to dissolving.
Mm-hmm.
It will be for 2 years.
Okay.
Probably depends on the size, but generally you don't need to put on the refrigerator and just add it every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks to not.
Okay, just
and
curious.
I think that's one of the things that I'm most interested in trying and getting it over to North America is the Power Elixir because it doesn't need to be refrigerated. Unlike the other popular brand who looks like highlighters, it has to be refrigerated after a week. So to be able to have this and not have to refrigerate it for the life of the bottle, to me is just great. I can still manually watch it as I'm dosing supplementally, but to have it on there, if I choose to, I think is a really good safeguard too.
Nice. I'm looking it
Yeah.
up right now.
Yeah, so this is I hope that you will receive soon, and even so this product in Canada it's a big problem for you because Canadian customs we cannot pass
Oh,
that
really?
the amino acids we use there's some animals parts on some content of the animals inside, and the process to pass through to with the permission, and it's super difficult for us. I
Ah.
know that you have other brands, but I don't know how they do it. But it's in this industry, it's not so big industry to cover the cost of
Mm-hmm.
preparation of all the documents that they want to. And it's super complicated. That's why some products are not available in Canada,
Yep.
because we are not able to pass through some other companies have it. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how they do it. Probably, I don't know. I will not speculate, but I doubt that they have the permissions.
Huh. Crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy all the different rules, right? Just could be one little ingredient. They're like, nope.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. For
well.
example, let's say in Australia, you don't need to you cannot have any salmon,
Hmm.
any part of the salmon, for example.
Really?
Any so we don't use the salmon in our products, but if you will have it, it's not possible to import it. Not possible. Even there's no way. For example, there's so many different rules in different country, and I know in Canada we don't have IF energy because we are not able to pass the certification. We don't have amino acid as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
actually a big consideration for exporting to everywhere, right? Is you know, which products can you do or which ingredients like that. It makes it a bit tricky to try and find that special blend that works for everywhere.
that
Yeah.
probably is not possible even
Yeah.
to go to. We are selling for 70 countries,
Lots.
it's difficult to know every rules. Usually, our distributor know their market, and then we try to give them some veterinarian permission because we are very strict on the documents. All the products have a safety data sheet and so on and so on because a lot of papers to run this kind of to sell this kind of products.
Mm-hmm.
Even even if it's not for human consumption, sometimes the rules are more strict that for humans for
Yeah.
like supplements for humans are it's easier to implement on the market than for corals
That's
and for food.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But at least we can get some of the different fish foods into Canada and elsewhere because
Yeah.
not only do the fish tend to love them because they sink. I found that a lot of my corals tend to like them as well. The Duncan, which I know you're a great fan of as well, really, really do love the Aquaforest food because I can just drop them in and they just like hits their head and they just gobble it right up. So
Nice.
a good unintended balance of feeding the fish and feeding the corals at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I do that as well. I just feed the fish and just above the SPS the LPS that are on the bottom, and my wife made a video like a few days ago. With the she feed the fish, and I have, for example, like we have a Antias food, and we have in the tank we have ventralis, which is very finicky. But he eat like crazy, and I have a video. He love to eat it's yeah, eat it, and how it is that it is. I I know what we adding
Mm-hmm.
to attract a little bit the fish because that's also the part of the we are producing this foods. So it's not only the product itself, but after we have some attractors in the fish and in the foods.
Yeah. Nice. You guys have a lot of
So
foods too.
so we have any questions for people that are listening?
It's been pretty quiet on the questions. I did see someone have a question about the probiotic line and probiotic salt and the difference between that and reef salt. So maybe do we want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. That's of course the different the salt itself as a parameter are more or less exactly the same. Okay, they are the same, but we add on the salt special probiotic bacteria and some amino acids for as well, vitamin C there's some small carbon source on it as well, just to make the bacteria alive. Because of course there are in dry state, if I can say like that, lolifies. What is the name in English? There are dried.
Dehydrated.
Huh?
Dehydrated.
Kind of, yes. It's there's another word, but it's yes. So when they have a contact with water, when you make a water change, it's become alive because we have amino acids and all the ads in the salt. And when you make a water change, this bacteria consume phosphate and nitrate and becoming a bacterial plankton for your corals as well. So all it's one it's made for reduce the nutrients, but in the same time it's feed the corals. And of course, when they died, because they died, they should be skimmed out by skimmer. That's why we recommend to have a relatively strong skimmer to this method.
You know, I have as I have my 2 holding tanks going with all the fish in it. I did an experiment where one tank got the probiotic salt and then the other one just got the regular reef salt, and just see what the difference is between the two. And I noticed the tank that had the reef salt, the corals, the polyp extension was much more vivid on that particular tank than the other one. So I'm gonna wait 2 weeks and I'm gonna switch it to see if I notice that the opposite happens. Just as a little test, because I have the 2 tanks simultaneously running exactly the same right next to each other. Yeah. So it's fun to test the 2 out. But I did notice, much more polyp extension with the probiotic salt too.
Yeah.
And we have this method for probably like 10, 12 years, probably 12 years even now. And so we didn't know that the newest scientist research shows that the effect of probiotic bacteria on corals are very beneficial. And we saw this Australian university that made this research about how it could help the bleaching in corals. They're becoming a bit more resilient with this probiotic bacteria. We didn't know that before. Honestly, not before when we start this method. The goal was to create a bacterial plankton and to reduce the nutrients, and that's how we experienced with that. And probably we're one of the first company that experienced with this probiotic bacteria in our hobby. And now we discovered some new things, and then we didn't even know about. And so but I know that some other company now had that. But we do that for a long time, and we really change some proportion. We change the strains of this bacteria. So we are very happy with this result. But soon I can announce here, the first person who will be here. Soon we will have the new version of probiotic bacteria, of probiotic reef salt, and it will be something totally new, but not new generally, because the probiotic bacteria will be the same, but the approach will be to the salt will be something totally new on the market. Nobody did that in the past, and we tested for at least a year already, so the results are very, very promising. And
do we get to know what's new?
The result. So yeah. That's something that will happen soon.
Okay. Do we get to know?
If you'd like that comment about the new salt, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button on Devin's channel, subscribe if you're not already, show him some love there as well. But yes, super exciting news there.
That's
it will be not a huge change, but it'll be better than the last one, but the last one is still okay. Yeah. But as we develop the methods, we saw opportunity that there's something to add, that there's something to mix together. Also, I can share a little bit of insights. So this will be quite interesting why not to do something better.
Yep. Hey, it's always a good way to go.
And
so as about we are talking about reducing nutrients, but that we know people that are facing of the problem that they have not enough nutrients, so they need to add some nutrients. Yeah. You have that?
No, I don't. I'm trying to get them down constantly. I have the opposite problem.
We have a lot of people ask us to create the products to add for example, phosphate, to add nitrates to the water safely, of course, without any side effect. And so I can announce that as well here, first time, that
Nice.
soon we will have this product. They are tested for at least a year already, and we are very happy with the results. There's no any side effect, if I can say like that. But I must warn people because it's for pro. Because the tests that we have, I don't believe there are some times without phosphates. Probably when they test the phosphate, maybe in the moment they have not enough of phosphates, but generally the phosphate are still there. You are feeding corals, you are adding stuff to the so the phosphate but they are very very fast consumed.
Yeah.
And aside the same the nitrates. So when you adding phosphates, you should be beware. It's a risky method, if I say it, because if you overdose it, it could be but the way that we did this product, it's not easy to overdose because we prefer to have a bigger dosage, to add a little bit more to control this level.
Yeah.
And this phosphate does not show up immediately. And the other side of the coin, we have still problems, or we don't have enough accurate tools at home to measure the phosphate at this levels, like 0, 0, 001, 002. We know both that, or three of us, that the test kits that are in the market, they have the range accuracy probably 004 even. Yeah, so it's very difficult to really know what level you have. The ICP, the chromatograph can show you these levels, but the home test kits. But anyway, we will have these products, and for some people are really I know the methods that people add nutrients to the tanks. Yeah. Just adding more and more just to make the corals grow, because the phosphates are very important. Of course, in exceed it will be not so good, but generally you should have them.
You need them.
And in the right ratio with your nitrates as well.
Yeah, yes. That's always the problem. If you don't have phosphates, you're basically starving your coral. So they are important. You need nutrients. I know some people try and get rid of them because they're afraid of algae, but they are part of feeding your corals and making them thrive. So it is definitely important to have them.
Grow.
Yep.
Use phosphates to grow.
And then if you have just a hair too much, you got all the algae breakouts, problems, and a whole other shenanigans of things happening.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why we are always balancing on the right level.
Yeah, I think for probably a year now, Devin, you and I have been talking about phosphate reduction and methods and stuff.
Oh, I know. That's always my battle. I feed too much and have too many fish. I mean, I know that's why, but it's an endless battle.
Yeah, that's true. Feeding is all, but some people, when we have questions in our group sometimes, I have zero not phosphate, so what I should do? Feed more.
Yeah, add more fish, feed them more.
Yeah. More fish.
Yeah. But I feed a lot, but I feed even more.
Yeah.
or check your tests, because that's another story. Or check your tests.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. And so that will be a part of our this products will be part of our lab line, because we have Aquaforest lab, which we have individual elements that are for ICP testing.
Yep.
When you will make an ICP, then you have individual elements that you can add. And I think that the NO3 plus and then PO4 plus, that will be also products for lab, because that's a not product for everybody. That for conscient people, conscient reefer, so they know what to add and why they add. Because we observe that people just read the comment and just buy it, add it, and after they are surprised that something is not going right in their tanks.
Randomly adding all the random bottles.
Well, and expect to see something happen overnight, and often we know that that's not the case. A tank can crash overnight, but it takes months to see the impact of whatever we dosed. 3 months ago, we're just seeing the impact of it today. So we've all talked about the expectation that we have in this hobby, but it really is a patience game. And going full circle to the beginning about getting my tank, it's just teaching me more patience when I set it up to appreciate it even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the reduction of nutrients is also should be made slowly. I just said that because, for example, some people make a huge water changes, like a big one, like a 20, 30, 50%, because they want to reduce the nutrients. And for example, our probiotic salt is very effective on the reducing the nutrients. So we said, don't use it more than 10%, 50%
Oh, I was
of
going to
the
ask you
nutrients.
about that actually. That was on one of my things I wanted to know because I have seen that
Yeah,
before where it was said
and the
don't use for
reason
like
is not
massive water
because
changes. I'm like,
yeah,
why not?
the reason of that it's just because we don't want to reduce the nutrients too fast, especially when it's high. Let's say let's imagine a situation when you have, let's say, some people have 50 of NO3,
Mm-hmm.
so they have 50 with the and they decide to lower down one day and just they want to make a 30% of what they change.
Mm-hmm.
So in one moment, like just after what they change, they reduce this 50 by 30%.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no, even if there's no probiotic bacteria. So what happened? They had
Too
35
too big of a
in
swing.
just a few minutes.
Yeah.
And so, what are the results? There's a huge stress for corals. Even it's the changes for good,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a huge stress for corals. So additionally, when you will add the probiotic bacteria, they will even reduce it more.
Mm-hmm.
So probably it will reduce it to 20
Yeah, that makes
in
sense.
just with one water change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's but if you have a lower one, you will not see this effect because if it's low, really low, so it will not reduce too much. But it's high, this change is super dramatic, and it's a stress for corals. And you make you make a change for good, but the effect it's not good because
Mm-hmm.
the stress coral probably they can die, they can have a STN, for example. Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah, too much too
we, we,
fast.
we pass through too much good on the short time.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
my advice: every change should be made slowly,
I think
slowly.
absolutely. And
agreed.
Emerald says it right. Slow and steady always wins the race.
It's true.
We see that time and time again.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
definitely.
it's difficult. I even experienced that. It's difficult because when you see something, you want to act.
Yeah.
But I don't like to plan it plan that for 5 weeks, reducing the nutrient 5 weeks.
Yeah, instant
But
change.
probably it should be like that.
Yeah, it's true. It probably would be better for the tank and the corals. Just ease them into it.
But Devin, I'm wondering, when you have your automatic water change, you're able to help, automatically change out more or less water as you need. Do you find that method also helps from a nutrient export perspective?
I'm sure it does. It's hard to say directly because I have so many different things going on in the tank, but it does 2.5 liters a day or 2.5 gallons a day. So it just
Yeah, that's a
slow and steady.
perfect water exchange. That's of course because you have automatic system, so it's you can do it every day. But for some people,
Mm.
it's too much to do every day a water change.
Yep.
But I believe it's the best method to do it as much as you can, as often as is possible.
There's no shock to the tank. It's just very consistency, right? So I think there's a lot of benefit to it. I know some people are anti-water change, but I think there's a lot of benefit.
Yeah. So to asking to answering your question. So that's the reason that we recommend not to make this water change bigger than 10%, 50%,
Mm-hmm.
because already you make a nutrient export with the water change, and with the probiotic you make it even better, so that even more effective.
So you're essentially bacteria carbon dosing at the same time, which is
Exactly.
amplifying the effects. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
and then
And
Aaron,
this is the
because of the bacteria, that's probably why your corals are so much more polypy, right? Because that bacteria is also a food source to your corals, so they're out feeding. That's probably why they're all technically and extra happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I know there was a couple of comments earlier on about the probiotics in that article. So I'll send you the link to the article so you can post as part of this
Okay.
for people later. One of the things the article talks about is that the probiotics basically create like a pillow around the coral. So if you think of each of the zooxanthellae having a little bit of a cushion around them, it helps for both gas exchange, nutrient exchange, and the osmotic exchange of water in and out. So the bacteria is helping aid in that. So naturally, the polyps are able to come out a little bit further to either penetrate through that to feed or to be able to release any of the toxins inside of them. So even down at that small, micro level, we don't necessarily think about bacteria as having that big of an impact. But reading that article, it was quite surprising just how effective it can be at doing multiple things simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Bacteria rules the world.
Yeah,
That's
that
true.
was a very interesting article because we honestly we never made such an experience as on this level that they did. We of course we saw the beneficial effect of bacteria, of probiotic bacteria, but honestly we saw it, but we didn't know exactly why it happened like this on the corals. I know that it's a food. I know that's reducing nutrients, but the certain of process that they made are more and more advanced. Like we never thought that would be that they discovered that not long time ago, and they are taking care of the reefs for there's a lot of pressure to find a way to help corals, and we just found it 2 weeks ago or a few months ago.
Nice. Okay. G-Day Reef asked a while ago, he goes, what are the magnetic stuff in Life Source? Is there something magnetic or silvery or?
Yeah, we have this subject. But it's natural elements that we found because this product is totally natural. I was in the place where it's where it's come from. It's a totally beautiful island somewhere outside of the mainland.
Yeah.
And it's just it's taken from the sea. So for example, aluminium is most common element on Earth. I don't know if you know that, but in the earth and everywhere. But it's not aluminium. But I just want to say the metals are present everywhere, and these metals are. I know that people are afraid because they use magnets. I don't know. It's kind of now it's a kind of hobby and sports that they use magnets and they try to find how much it will attract to this magnet of metals. But this metal is totally natural, totally. And I use these products for, I don't know, like 5-6 years even, and I have the same pumps in my tank because they are afraid that, for example, the magnet will attract them and you will scratch your tank when you will clean it. That the pumps will. I use it for my pumps are here for 6 months, 6 years, 7 years. I don't remember. I don't have any problem with that. So it's not really affected. So don't worry, it will not kill your pumps. And it's very beneficial for use. There's a lot of bacteria, lot of natural stuff. And we observe how copper pods, how they grow after that. Really, it's boosts all the biology in the tank. So I still believe it's a super nice product. They have metals, that's true, but it's not a metal that we really should afraid of.
Yeah. Which is also kind of funny because a lot of the stuff that we dose as trace elements are metals too, right? And like a liquid form, basically.
Exactly. We dose metals, and metal is not just a solid metal that we have in mind and will kill your corals every time. So the same story with some people ask me if it's, for example, some of we have a micro E, which is also the heavy metals that we add. Some corals that have brighter corals, and you will find these metals in the water in the ocean as well. So it should be the excess of that. It could be a problem. But and they ask me, they have a brown color, so it should be not good because it's brown. I said, so not everything that is white is good, and not everything that is brown it's not good, because not everything is clear in the nature and even in the chemistry. And so yeah, but when you have this way of thinking, if for example if something has colors, like we have tons of questions about component 1, 2, 3 because they see that the component 1 it's a little bit brownish because there's a iron inside, and iron is not transparent, and it should have this color. That it is as it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. It has a color.
At the beginning of the stream, there's a ton of people saying they're using the component 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that's one of our best products, and I believe I love this product. Now I use the Pro, which is almost exactly the same, but it's double concentrated, and there's something extra on it that rise and stabilize the pH. That, Aaron, I know that you are fighting with that and you want to also all time to rise the pH. This product will definitely rise and stabilize the pH, and you will see the bigger consumption even proportionally of this product, because when you rise the pH, corals begin to grow faster. And they consume more. So yes. So component 1, 2, 3. It's a whole solution with the trace, macro, and the cage solution that with the right proportion that all your corals need. So that I love to make it automatically, because it will be not possible to dose it every hour. So this is something that behind the scene take care of all chemical balance in your tank. And generally that's all I can say about this.
One of the things I'm going to experiment before I hook up my massive CO2 scrubber that I have, I'm going to try the Component Pro 1, 2, 3, just to see how much of a bump do I get in the daytime, specifically the nighttime, and the pH. And hopefully I don't need to put the CO2 scrubber on there. That it'll help maintain and buffer that pH to exactly what I'm hoping for. So when Sever first told me about that, I was super excited to try that and to be able to see what it's going to help to accomplish.
That's
but
awesome.
The component 1, 2, 3, it's also a great product, but it don't have this special things for rising and to stabilize the pH.
Nice. Well, lots of people struggle with it, so it's always a bonus.
Yes, exactly. And I know that it's very important. I when I observe the pH, it's never go below 8.1, 8.05 even during the night. And I remember time that I have 7, 8 during the night, so it's rises pretty, because I have a doser. I have a cage lab from Pacific Sun, which is a product that measuring the cage, and those all three parts proportionally to the results of the cage. So that's how it works. And the cage, I have it for 44 doses. So it's every 10 minutes adding me this cage, and in this cage you have these things that stabilize the pH as well.
Nice. I like that stability. Every 10 minutes is good.
Yeah. And there's a lot of questions, probably I can answer here as well, about why it should be dosed in equal parts. That's the most common question that because some people, when they start, because you will have in component 1, you will have calcium, magnesium. In component 3, you have a cage, and the third one, you have a mineral salt. So they want to. There's a different way to mix it. If you want to have it separately, calcium and magnesium, you can do it. But generally, why we want to advise people to reefers to dose it equally, because there's a trace elements in every of these three. So when you want to have a balance in trace elements, you should dose it equally, because it's a calculate to be proportionally dosed. So when, for example, your, let's say, KH, it's consumed a little bit proportionally faster. So add still equally, but add individual KH, pure KH extra.
Okay.
Or magnesium extra.
Yeah.
No, you don't regulate with the component 1, 2, 3 individual element, because that's a proportional calculate, and it's tested. During the time it will stabilize. It will be stable during the time. But at the beginning, some people don't have imbalanced tank, and that's why at the beginning it's sometimes it doesn't match. But that's why we add a little bit more of pure KH, pure calcium, what is consuming more, and after it will stabilize.
Okay, so keep all the components equal doses and use a direct element
you can change it. You can change it for a week, 2 weeks, but in the long term, you should have it stable. It will be better, because it will be that's why it was created this way, to keep ionic balance in your tank to be balanced, all the trace elements, and which is also very important because the component 1 to 3 they are not made to rise certain parameters; they are to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's the whole beauty of this. So at the beginning, you should find the best way to keep the all elements on the right level, and when you dose the component 1 to 3, they will keep it in the right level.
So once they're stabilized,
So
because that's
make
the
sure
whole
your numbers
thing.
are
We
at a
discussed
happy
about
place,
that before.
and then it'll keep them there.
That's right.
Stabilization.
Okay, there was a question a few minutes ago about, out of all the products that you use, which one's your favorite Aquaforest product and why?
Yeah, so I think one of the best product I like, it's the component 1 to 3 or component Pro.
Mm-hmm.
We have discussed because that's something I used to travel a lot. Now I'm sitting more home, but I think that this year it will again. I will travel. For example, to see you guys in US, but I really miss that. I was at least like three times a year in US shows, and I miss that a lot. To meet people there and to talk with the reefers, with you guys as well. So, but anyway, back into the subject. So company 1 to 3, when I travel, I don't really care about chemical parameters. Really, I know even now I have the KH testing, which regulate me all the parameters. That's even better. I know that not everybody can afford it, but with dosing pumps, without any problem, if the tank is stable, you can leave it for a week, two, without any problem, and you don't care about cage, you don't care about anything, till your pump is not making something wrong, like a pump I don't know, whole component too. I saw these things as well.
Yeah. No, awesome. How about you, Aaron? What's yours?
So this is one. Of course, I love the rock, but I don't use it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the I will not tell on the marketing side, because I can say about salt and so on and so on. But the components are really something that I enjoy every day.
Mm-hmm.
I think my single favorite product is Life Source. I've so many people here in the stream I've talked to about this product. I really think it is like a miracle product on the market because of what it can do in the tank, depending on how you dose it, right? You could broadcast dose it in the evening, and you're going to see, after the cloudiness disappears the next morning, all your corals look so much more vibrant. Or how I do it is I have it in the container in my sump, and I let passively things go through it, and I know the benefit of it. I can see all the pods growing, the feather dusters and stuff growing out of it. So to me, that's my favorite product because I can see the different ways in which it's being used, the benefits to the aquarium. So and again, I know a lot of the people in the stream have heard me talk about it countless times, but that's one of the products that I think it really truly helps our corals to grow really well.
Okay, so question from the user side of it. Is it, or do you find it's more benefit to mix them with water and broadcast feed the tank, so it's kind of feeding the coral polyps in a way? Or do you find it more beneficial to, say, have it in like your refugium area with it passively water flowing through it all the time?
Yeah, so both is the simple answer to that.
Yeah.
But caveat to you and anyone who uses a filter roller is it will go through a boatload of filter roller that night. And so either turn off, bypass, whatever you want to do. Just be aware of that your filter roller will pull out a lot of that, the sediments that are in there. So, but that being said, when I use it at night, I pull out my filter mesh socks and just let it go through, and whatever the skimmer pulls out, and let it be that. And I don't fuss too much about it for that day because in the morning the tank is clear anyway. So that's the base is broadcast. In terms of in the sump area refugium, I definitely see that there's pod colonies that'll grow in there, or as I said in mine, feather dusters and shells will grow in there and see them. So this is something that to me I think has a bacterial benefit as well, that's reproducing in that cylinder, escaping out into the tank, and just going into the rest of the environment.
generally the mud itself, it's a huge, it has a huge role in the whole ecosystem of, because it's a filtration. It filtrate the seas, even so the mud, when you will find in the natural, when you have mangroves and the mud is there, it's a one. I think I saw some scientific research that there's a biggest concentration of good bacteria on this mud, because it's filtrated all the seas. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So to me, that's my favorite product, and I'm always trying to find, new and interesting ways to use it. And I feel like I've only scratched the surface in some of that, and either broadcast or in the sump. I feel like there's many more ways that I have some ideas around of how to use it differently too.
Throw in a reactor.
And other product I use every day. Every day I use it and I like it. It's a Leaky Foods. I honestly I said that because I use it every day. For me, I take it from the refrigerator. I just add it a little bit and I watch fish eating, and this is also, I like it very much because it's not pollute the water. Of course, you will have some phosphate because it's organic, and it's protein, so you will find some phosphate, but it's cleaned, so it's not really, it's relatively clean. Much more cleaner than you have a frozen food, and also my wife thanks me for this, because I remember my freezer stinks with the cubes of, and even I have the glass that the ice that I use for drinks. It stinks with that. I have frozen fruits. It's so now I don't have it for any frozen foods for fish. And I like it because I have fruits frozen, and you should have another freezer probably.
Your people food isn't fishy anymore.
So maybe we can create a Aquaforest ice cream line.
Yeah, man.
No. For fish or for us?
Yeah, whatever.
Go for both. It works.
Yeah, and so Devin, we shared ours. What's been your experience of your favorite?
Well, I'm going to try the Life Source now. So I was actually just asking that mainly for me because I was debating which way to use it.
Probably you are afraid of the metals, but I don't.
No, that was some question from the chat. I'm not worried about it.
No. But I honestly, I see some kind of question. There's a lot of questions. We explained that many times that it's nothing wrong with that, and it's a natural part of. We had some, I don't know, in the past we have some issue with some small parts of plastic inside that we found. It was like 2-3 years ago, I remember even, but it was from the reef. Yeah. And it's tragic, and we that there were some part of the plastics inside. Even that's true. But we changed a little bit the place when it was collected from the other side on Small Island.
Yep.
And there was no plastic anymore.
Yep. Sadly, it's part of the ocean. Yeah, it's out there.
And even
it's not funny,
there's still plastic.
I know. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's not dissolving. Honestly, it will not really. It will be not harmful for corals or fish, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Excellent.
So we made a new filtration, new thing that some more control how it was packed. So now we don't have that.
Excellent. All right. So if there's any other questions in the chat, let us know. I do know it is late for you, so I appreciate you coming on because it's probably close to 1 a.m. on your side.
1:30.
1:30.
That's fine. I was sleepy at the beginning, but now I have energy. To meet you guys and talk to you, I love that.
Re-energized. Okay, so actually, let's hear a little bit about your tank at home. What do you have?
My tank?
Yeah.
So I have 2 tanks, and one I have small ocean guard in my the 430.
Nice.
And I just launched it probably. It was in March last year, I think. So 1.5 years already. Nice. And I have the first version, so with the cabinet, and that is normal cabinet, not like you have
super
the
cabinet.
new one with a very solid one. And I'm not super happy with this cabinet because every time I cleaning the glass, I feel impression that it's moving a little bit. The time. But I have the older version, and that's why I didn't change it. But I don't want it. So your tank, Aaron, it will be not possible to move. Trust me. I tried to to bounce it a little bit to move it, and there's no way. It's super solid. If it's if it. But anyway, back into.
I will let you know if my daughter jumps on the top and starts swinging on it.
Yeah, try
mode.
to do it. Really, you will see. It will be hard. It will be hard. So you told me that it would be good for earthquake in your place.
Yes, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I glued all the rock to in a particular way, because having survived one earthquake here and seeing the tank go back and forth, or the folks in Mexico this morning, yesterday with the earthquake, seeing tanks move, it definitely is on my mind of making sure that a strong, stable stand is there. So
that's probably the safest place in your house. Go inside your tank stand.
Seriously, right?
And then I saw sometimes when you use the wave box or you have a waving. And the tanks are moving, some of the tanks that I saw, they are moving with the water. And it was terrifying me, but no, I know that. That's why we recreate that to not have this. But anyway, the tank that I have a bigger tank, which is also that's around 300 gallons. The small, it's around probably in gallons. So it's like 1,150 liters, more or less. So it's a bigger one. It's a mixed reef tank, which is always a challenge for me, and I want to have it because it's relatively easy to keep SPS only. It's relatively easy to keep LPS only or soft coral fish only, but to have everything inside, that was always a challenge because that's some corals like the SPS need to have a little bit lower nutrients, and it's not necessary, but there's a lot of schools. How to keep corals happy, but anyway, to have them together, that's another story.
Yep.
And have more species like I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Trachyphilia corals and Vesophilia, which is I have a nice collection of them, and I'm looking for some new one. I have some friends that importing corals, and I just also always ask them to find me something. But I put them too much, and I don't have too much space to. So it's time
to another tank.
Yeah, you need to upgrade now.
It's time for another tank. That's true. Maybe in the new Ocean Guard.
I was gonna say there's some new Ocean Guard tanks out there. They look pretty nice.
We thought about.
I know a guy. We can do an introduction.
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, that was very funny because I have the period in my life that I didn't have a tank. It was like probably 2-3 months. I had enough. It was a long time ago, and it was 3 months, and I said no, I need to have a tank. At the beginning, it was a kind of relief because then I had the SPS tank only. It was for me it was challenging because I was always looking for some to be better and better and better. So every day it should be maintained to see if the parameters are right, and it was kind of difficult, in some point because it took time. It was stressed as well because when I travel, I was stressed if everything will be nice. So, but I was 3 months without tank, and I started again a tank, and I have it till now for many. But I started probably the tanks 25 years ago.
That's awesome.
So I had only 3 months without. No, maybe not. I lived for a few months for a while in States, and then I didn't have it.
Yeah.
But generally, all my life with tank. So I have this tank, which is also this is the mix tank. I have the parameters that I keep. I have this chance that I have access to ICP almost every time I want. So I keep the parameter, almost perfect, if I can say that, because I just use some individual elements to add. If I see manganium that it's a little bit lower, so I add it manually. Because I can do every day I can make an ICP, so I'm quite
That's awesome.
Comfortable situation. But generally, I see from my perspective that it's not need to. I don't need to do it. To do it twice a month, once a month, with some people, it's enough. It's enough. It shows you the direction. it shows you, what could be wrong, or even you check if you don't have any contamination, because
Mm-hmm.
contamination can came with air, can came with air water, and you don't see that immediately.
Yeah.
You see the effect. For
So.
example, here when I lived in during the winter,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of it's quite cold, like you probably like you have. So people use to here in Poland, they use sometimes not clean source of heating. So we observe immediately in our place some cobalt,
Mm-hmm.
for example, in the water, because it's in the air.
Yeah.
Huh.
And there are something like that you can, even for example, in spring, they clean the they clean somehow all the pipe, the canalization. They
Mm-hmm.
use some, and we observe during some contamination in the water. And
It's crazy.
yeah, and if you don't make these tests, you will not know.
Yeah, no, it's true. Now, because you can ICP so much, this is a question from the chat, Mike. He was asking if you would test daily, and what does ICP testing tell you about your daily trace consumption? So have you?
I don't do daily. I can do
Yeah,
that, but I
you
don't do daily.
do
But I
you?
can. Honestly, I don't see it too much, because I use component pro or component 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So they are adding on daily basis. So there's
Mm-hmm.
no any lack of them. Of course, it could happen that because you cannot find one recipe for all tanks,
Mm-hmm.
and we cannot find all solutions. So sometimes after, let's say, 6, 8 months, I observe some elements going down,
Mm-hmm.
because some corals, like, I don't know, let's imagine that you have a lot of goniopora, that they consume manganium, for example. And so it will not be the same that somebody have only SPS corals, or some people have only Xenia that consume a lot of iodine, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I observe some elements that are going down and up, but it's not every day.
Yeah.
I observe it in a monthly basis, maybe, or maybe no, even more in
Mm-hmm.
the few months.
Okay. So I guess basically with the component 1, 2, 3, you are supplementing every day, so you're not really gonna have a big drop. But every few
Yes,
months, you might need to tweak a little bit just based on the type of
exactly,
corals in your tank.
exactly, exactly. That's why, that's the whole idea about these individual elements. That's why you can do the ICP to just tweak, and that's why we have a Aquaforest Lab products,
Mm-hmm.
just to exactly, not
You
to
need to
add
change then.
in one product everything, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't need to add everything. You need to add individual elements that it's missing.
Yeah. Okay. Another question from Mikey. Will you develop any other hardware in the future? You already have reactors. What about skimmers or filter rollers?
Skimmers we had, but we didn't develop too much. But first, rollers,
Mm-hmm.
I have it in my tank, the prototype
Nice.
already. So it's soon. It's a very very nice roller. A little bit. We 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 uh, we make it better than everything is in the market, because there are
Nice.
some things that are really difficult to change the role. For example, it's kind of a lot of work for some people. You need to disassemble all. Our it's very easy, very
Nice.
easy. You don't need to really do too much.
Nice.
And so I tested now, and the results are very good. It was tested before in our place, and now I just received the final version. So probably in a few months, or
Nice.
we will have the roller.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? The reactors. We probably we will work on some filters for a CO2 reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, that's a project. Uh, Lights
Mm-hmm.
that we are working for a while already,
Nice.
and but it will be earlier next year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So where else we will do? I think for now I don't remember anything else.
It's a pretty
Uh,
solid start.
That's a lot of what you shared with me. So
I think I'm missing something, but sometimes they develop something in the technical side, and I didn't really know about this. People just are very very creative persons, so
Mm-hmm.
just came to me and give me some. Wow, we
You
have
walk
that.
in, hey, that looks nice. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll try.
But the lights, that is something very ambitious product for us. We have something in our mind, something innovative,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, something new. If
Nice.
I can say that, new source
What
of
do you?
light.
I,
That will be enough to say.
yeah. What are you currently using?
I use one
Mm-hmm.
that I have a prototype of
Yeah.
our lights, but we will probably will not use it. It's okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it's okay. It's still I have it and it's growing very well, and nothing wrong with this.
Mm-hmm.
But we will change a little bit the direction,
Yeah.
and it's we decided to use another source of light.
Okay.
That will be a cool different approach.
Nice.
Another sort of light because LED light are okay. It will be LED, but different ones. So that's enough. I will not say more.
Okay. I'll take what I can get. Sounds good.
I guess we'll have to do another stream when those
I
are ready.
know. When all the new goodies come out.
Yes. So I know that we will have probably will print it this different some now in the next few weeks. We will test it. We'll see.
Nice.
I believe that will be a great source of light, and it will change things.
Nice. That's awesome. So lots of good stuff's coming out. So in the past, mainly just all the supplements, all the food sources basically for your coral keep tank happy. Now awesome tanks coming out, got some other cool accessories in the works. So that's pretty cool.
But I didn't say that they will not have new products on the supplementation. There are in development new exciting things.
Lots of good stuff in the lab.
We have in our company we have now it's 7 chemists. We have 3 biologists, 1 biotechnologies. So a lot of people are working really on the laboratory, on the development and testing. So we are really work hard to find new things to add, new resins for bacteria, many things. Really.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Love it. All right, you'll have to give us the sneak peek when it's close to prime time.
Yeah.
Come back on. We'll do something good.
Maybe Interzoo next year. That will be a big show. I don't know if you plan to be there, but
I might have to now.
who knows? We'll see how it will be. I plan to be this year and then last year as well, but
didn't happen. Obvious reasons.
It wasn't happen. But let's hope that this year it will be. I know that the shows are already in States. Some of the shows.
Starting to start back up again. Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe that now we will have something that's called MACE, MACE. It's a show in Holland. Probably it will be one of the biggest show like this in Europe. Besides, of course, the Interzoo.
Nice.
So this year we will have the booth there. So we'll be there. We'll present the tanks there and many other products.
Nice.
So let's hope that that we will move forward. Now with the all coronavirus will stay just somewhere as a bad memory, as a bad thing that happened. Bad memories.
Definitely. I miss all the shows, so hopefully it happens. I think next year hopefully it'll be normalish at least and start going back to them again.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I was really super excited because I thought that this in LA there will be Reefapalooza this year. I was almost decide to go, but for me it's difficult because I cannot go to States as a European citizen. Even if I'm vaccinated, even if I have a negative test, I cannot go to US. And I can go, but I should go to Mexico, stay there for 2 weeks, on the beach, and then I can fly.
Sacrifices must be made.
I don't know if it's not the same in Canada, but probably if I came to Canada and stayed for 2 weeks there, then I can go to States. You can go to the States?
I think...
No, I right now I can't go into Canada, so unless I have a doctor's note for a specific reason. But no, I know at least still right now they're limiting access.
I heard yesterday or 2 days ago that Canada opened the borders for the tourists.
Okay.
The weird thing is, if you've had like double shots, everything, you could fly, but you couldn't drive yet, which didn't quite make sense. But I guess they're just trying to stop like the day trip people.
Yeah.
I was reading something the other day. It said like 60% of the traffic is people that just go back and forth for the day. So I think that's what they're trying to avoid. But so it's getting closer. It's starting to happen.
Well, Greg just said that he wishes we could make it happen. So I'm sure next year, Reefpalooza LA or Anaheim will be on, and hopefully we can get you out here for that, Sever.
I definitely I would like to come. It's a part of my joy when I because we run a business. It's a business, so it's fun. Of course, we have discussion, but we hired 100 people and we produce a lot of stuff and it's a lot of carry. But this part is really fun for me.
You gotta have fun with it.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on today. It was a fun one, and I appreciate the late nights. So even better.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey guys, if you liked it, I see there's a lot more people watching that haven't smashed that like button. So please give it that thumbs up. Subscribe now if you haven't already. And also just a little plug. Sever and I are doing these weekly tank talks. So if you like what you saw here, hit us up. Let us know. We're going to be talking about some of the products. I'll be going through my tank setup with the Ocean Guard as I get water into it in the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. So please let us know if you'd like to hear some more things. And we got some guests coming up in the next week or two as well. So
the better question is where can they find your tank talks?
Yeah. So right now they're in the Aquaforest Facebook group. We're going to be publishing them there, in addition to the Aquaforest YouTube page. So just obviously check it out. I'll send Devin the link for it as well, so if you could pop it in the comments below. And we'll be producing more stuff coming real soon.
And I invite you also on the Facebook group. We are almost 4,000 people there.
Yes.
Really, the reefers. We don't buy people, if I can say that. There are really people that are interesting. A lot of things going on. A lot of information. There are very friendly people. I'm there. Our marketing persons, and we give you some advices. You can ask questions about everything. Almost.
Perfect. Awesome. So definitely check it out. I will update the description afterwards with those links when you send them over. And yeah, thanks.